All right, answering the question, stuffing cabbage leaves or how to make stuffed cabbage. First, let me just say that my preference among the cabbages would be what they call Savoy cabbage, which is what this is right here. This is a small head of Savoy cabbage that have had most of the bitter outside leaves already removed. That's how I bought it at the market today. It was already pre-cleaned a little bit, okay? Why do I prefer Savoy cabbage? I think the texture of the cabbage is a little bit more tender. It doesn't have to be cooked as much. It has a more vibrant color in the final stuffed cabbage on a plate ready to eat. And it's easy to handle. Well, you don't have to cook it as long, and it's softer. So softer cabbage rolls and folds better than a regular green cabbage does. So first, how to clean the cabbage to get the leaves off, because we're going to, blanch the cabbage leaves in boiling water, put them in ice water, trim them, make the stuffing, and then roll them up and put them in a pan and bake them, okay? I made a little bit of chunky tomato sauce that I'm going to show you how to serve with it. Basically was the French tomato sauce in the Stock and Sauce DVDs, which is the one I have for this today. This dish can be made, of course, from a vegetarian point of view, and today I'm choosing not to do that. I have bacon, pork, ground pork, and Mexican chorizo sausage as part of this, okay? But first, how to get the leaves out of the cabbage. Down here at the stem, you need to cut the stem out. I don't want to cut too much of the stem out. I cut enough stem out to get some leaves off. Now, when you're cleaning cabbage from the bottom down, which is what I'm doing right now, it gets to a point where they no longer peel easily. At that point, it's very much like a head of lettuce. You start peeling from the top down to the stem instead. Let's get off what we can first without breaking it, which is most of it, as it turns out. Sometimes when this gets stuck, you peel the leaf down this way, is what I meant, okay? Okay, I think we got enough right there. Now, I'm going to drop it in boiling salted water, the leaves. I have some water boiling right here. In go the leaves. This does not take very long, by the way. And if you spend too much time blanching these leaves, they're going to get overcooked, and the color of your leaves are not going to be where you want them. Now I'm going to give that a couple of minutes, and while I'm doing that, we're going to start by talking about the stuffing. Where to start with the stuffing is anyone's guess. I'm going to start with, you can make it any way you want. The important thing to understand is that the foods that are inside the cabbage hold together and don't fall out when you cut it open. It should kind of be a little bit intact. One way you can accomplish that, regardless of the stuffing that you make, is you can put a little bit of egg yolk in it if you want. I don't recommend you go that way. I'm going to add some rice, and we've got a little bit of fat mixed in with the meats and the sausage, and that should be enough for me, okay? And I'm going to add butter to it. Now the leaves are getting nice and green, as you can see. Can you catch that, Richard?
One more time, hold that up, please.
See how nice and green those are? That's the shocking in the water effect that does that, okay? Now I have cooked bacon, cooked rice, mushroom and onion duxelle, which is in your vegetable DVD. And we have Mexican chorizo here that's been cooked. I have ground pork that's cooked. I got some diced fresh red pepper, not cooked. We got some garlic, and we have some black Kalamata olives with the pits taken out, okay? I'm going to need to saute the minced squash here I've got, and the pepper. And I'm going to do that right now in a saute pan while those leaves are still cooking. Now, oh, hold on a minute. It's time for the leaves to come out. That's how fast it was, okay? I'm going to put my bowl of ice water I have here right next to this pot. Pull the leaves out right into the ice water. I want to stop this cooking process by shocking the cabbage and making sure that the cooking stops. And this will allow for a nice color to the cabbage leaves, okay? All right, I'm just going to let those soak now. We're going to go back to the stuffing, all right? We're going to put a little bit of butter in a saute pan. And we're going to add the red pepper. Oops. I'm losing my apron here. And we're going to add the zucchini squash. I'm going to season that with a little bit of salt and pepper. Both of them. I'm going to cook them together, only because it doesn't matter that much. If this is a different kind of dish, I might cook them separately. But their cooking times are very closely related here. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and just a pinch of sugar for the zucchini and the red pepper also, maybe. Don't need to cook it that much. It depends how you want your stuffing to come off, okay? While that's cooking real quick, I will chop up some Kalamata olives, and we're going to mix them all in here. Let's put the bacon in here. Let's put the duxelle in here. That's about 1 cup of chopped duxelle. And I got about 2/3 of a cup of bacon there. Got about a 1/2 cup of ground pork. I got about 1.25 cups of blanched plain white rice. I've got some chorizo sausage here that needs to be chopped up just a little bit more. You certainly can use any kind of sausage you want in this particular formula. See, making stuffing for cabbage, it's almost as if there isn't a recipe. I feel almost guilty giving you a recipe rather than I want you to get the spirit of going about how to go about making your own stuffing. There's so many variables in this particular item. All right, we got the red and green pepper here. I'm going to toss my chopped garlic here, which is enough for all of this. In here with the pepper and the zucchini. Now, I don't think the zucchini or the red pepper are even in the actual printed recipe that you have in this DVD. I'm trying to show you the flexibility that you have when you make your stuffing. If you have some zucchini and red pepper and you like those two things, you can put them in your stuffing. You can keep this stuffing extremely simple by just doing sausage, olives, and rice if you wanted to, you know. I have a tendency to throw a little bit of extras in my stuff because I like it to be a little bit more diverse, I guess. You certainly can put cheese inside here too, you know. Okay, let's put some sausage in there. And let's just chop up the Kalamata olives a little bit here. Okay. I love that Mediterranean Kalamata olive flavor. You know, sometimes you can use a little bit of the brine that the Kalamata olives come in as part of the flavoring agent. Now, I'm going to mix this up with my hands here. Keeping in mind I got hot squash in there. I got to be careful. That looks kind of fun. I think I'm going to put, which I forgot because I had it sitting off to the side here, I'm going to put some fresh chopped thyme in there, which comes right out of our producer's garden, I'm happy to say. He's a regular horticulturist, you know, jack of all trades. Okay, I think I got enough to make a difference here. I'm going to add a little more rice to this, though. I want it to be a little ricier. I hate all rice stuff. It's not like, now don't misunderstand me, I love Greek Delmatos, which are grape leaves, a little bit like the cabbage, stuffed with all rice. But I'm going to add a little bit more rice to this mixture. I doubled up the rice is what I did from what I had. Now we're going to give this a mix and give it a taste and see where we are. Then I'm going to show you a couple of tricks in stuffing your cabbage, and you'll be on your own after that. I'll bake a couple and set them up on a plate and show you a little presentation on this too. This is can be an elegant dish depending on how you assemble it and how you put it together. All right, let's give this a taste. Looks pretty good, wouldn't you say? This tastes good. This is nice. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt, not much. Excuse me. I think the Kalamata olive brine has a lot of salt in it too. And it kind of added some seasoning to it for me already. All right, so there, I believe, is our stuffing. Pretty much in a nutshell there. That looks nice. Again, I'd like to remind you that this item is really delicious, made vegetarian style too. It's very, very popular like that also. But we're making ours with meat today. That's what we wanted to eat for lunch. Now, how to stuff the cabbage leaf and how to trim the cabbage leaf. Let's get our leaves out here. This is a fun thing. And there's something very homey about the stuffed cabbage. Although there's something very elegant about the way we're doing it. I think the stuffed cabbages that I grew up on, although they tasted good, didn't have that finesse and style and look and presentation that our stuffed cabbage is going to have. And if my mother happens to be watching this, I love this stuffed cabbage. Don't misunderstand me. Okay. All right, now at the base of the cabbage leaf, each one of them, there's a big piece of the root stem on the leaf, okay? That gets cut out because that's a little bit tough. So you have that when you're done. You see what I mean? Trimming the cabbage, all right? And I'm going to quick trim these. And I'm going to show you, if you have small pieces of cabbage leaves, how to overlap two pieces to make one out of it so that it's big enough to stuff and roll. Okay, last one right here. All right, first, how to stuff one that is a full piece of lettuce that's big enough, all right? Louis, a 12-inch plastic wrap, is that what this is right here? Beautiful. I'm going to show you how to tighten up your cabbage rolls with a little plastic wrap. You can use a towel too, but a plastic wrap works better. So, the stuffing goes in the top. You're going to come down here, Richard. You want to be careful how much stuffing you put in each roll because they don't hold as much as you might think they do, okay? So you want to get your stuffing above the cut a little bit, a little space there. Then I want to fold it over one time like that, tuck it in, then fold it like that. Then you roll it up. And you put the seam face down on the cooking surface. We're going to cook this, excuse me, on the Pyrex. Put a little splash of oil in the bottom of it to make sure nothing gets stuck. Now that's one leaf. This one's a little bit smaller. Got to put a little bit less stuffing in there. Roll, fold, tuck. See how that worked? Now I'm going to show you how to use 2 pieces of cabbage because that's too small. And this is a little bit tight here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay 2 of them. So I got one here. Come on down on this, Richard. I got one here, and then I have one on top of that one, overlapping. It's not the other way around, if you see what I mean. If you do it the other way around, it comes unfolded. So I'm going to do it like that. Got a little bit of piece of stem in here I didn't get off, too. All right, we got it now. Okay, stuffing. Rolling, folding, and tucking. Okay, now I talked to you about the plastic wrap. This is, or the towel. So let's do the towel first. You can take your towel and go like that to tighten up your roll sometimes, okay? That's one way. The other way is to take a piece of plastic wrap, which is the optimum way of doing it. You can tighten up your, let's say your roll's kind of falling apart a little bit and you want to tighten it up. You wrap it in plastic wrap, then you can squeeze it tight the way you want it, see? Okay? Put that in there. I think I might as well just go on ahead and do them all real quick here. This can be made certainly one day ahead of time if you need to, no problem. Put it in the fridge, cover it up. Should work for you just fine that way. You can microwave these if you want, or you can bake them. You can bake them in the tomato sauce, or you can bake them like they are on this Pyrex container, or any kind of container for that matter. And then put the sauce on them when you put them on the plate. Nice. Okay, there's our stuffed cabbages. Now, the way I normally bake the cabbage, and you want to keep in mind, you don't want to keep these in the oven forever because you're going to kill the color of the cabbage. You have aluminum foil here? Handy? Yeah, you do. Okay, pull that up for me, please. Here's what I recommend you do. First, you plastic wrap the container that they're going to be cooked in. Then you put aluminum foil over that. Let's make sure this is sealed. It is. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to put this in a 350 degree. Now you can get it ready just up to that point and put it in your fridge if you want. Then when it's time to make the cabbages the next day for lunch or whatever, just take it out of the fridge and pop it right in the oven. Okay, I'm going to put this in here at a 350, 375. Cook it till it's hot. Again, like I said, you can microwave them if you want, but I prefer to cook them in the oven. Now I can cook them in the tomato sauce. Maybe even put a little bit of cheese on top of them and serve it right in that Pyrex container if I wanted to. Of course, sort of like a gratin of stuffed cabbage rolls, if you will. Or you can do it, I'm going to do in a minute when I come right back, which is going to be about 25 minutes to a half an hour worth of real time in the oven. And I'll be back right now and we'll pull them out of the oven and I'll finish them up for you. All right, the cabbage has been in the oven for about 25 minutes. I just checked it a second ago and it's about ready, and we're going to pull her out and see what we got, okay? We have cabbage that is still green. I think that's important in terms of your final presentation of the cabbage here now. So let's put a couple of them on a plate like we're serving these for lunch. And I have the tomato sauce that I told you that I made earlier. I don't like to cover my cabbages with the sauce because I want you to be able to see the cabbages and that nice green color that they have. And I would suggest, I have some confetti veg today, which of course you have a video for. A little bit of that on there, that's kind of nice. And they're basically, you have how to peel a piece of cabbage, blanch the leaves, trim the leaves, roll it up, and store it for when you're ready to cook dinner. This is a real nice home style item. And the beauty of this item too, which I really didn't emphasize earlier on when I was making it, although I mentioned it a couple of times, and that is that whatever your stuffing you want to use, which is also called a farce or a farci in French cooking, and whatever your stuffing you want to put in there, it's really up to you. And I think you'll enjoy this. I think anybody who served this to will. So have a great time with this.